Hello, guys and gals, lords and ladies, saints and sinners of every kind. Welcome to Rise Up Jerusalem, your Catholic podcast for teens. I'm your host, Connor McLaughlin, and this weekend I was on a confirmation retreat, not because I myself was getting confirmed, but because I'm a core team leader in my youth group, and we were having a confirmation retreat with Confirmandi, and I was helping out with my small group. So that was fun, but it really got me thinking about the Holy Spirit and the gifts and the fruits of the Holy Spirit. And so that's what I'm going to talk about this week. I want to talk about the gifts of the Holy Spirit and the fruits of the Holy Spirit. Just what are they? How do they compare? But honestly, what exactly are they? I mean, there's 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit and 12 fruits of the Holy Spirit. What are they exactly? I mean, people who have already been confirmed, like me, you know you have them, but what exactly are they? Or if you're going to soon be confirmed, what are you really getting? Like, seriously, what are you getting? So first off, we're going to start with the 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit, all right? Right now, I'm in 1830 to 1832 of the Catechism. That's where it talks about the gifts and fruits of the Holy Spirit. If you don't know the Catechism, get a copy of the Catechism. All your questions shall be answered in the Catechism. Of course, then you won't need me anymore, which will be really sad. But anyways, continuing on to the fruits and gifts of the Holy Spirit. Actually, you know what? If you don't want a Catechism, for whatever reason, let's say you don't want to have a massive copy of the church's teaching in your room, or in your house in general, get the UCAT, which is the Youth Catechism that Pope Benedict said was cool. I'm just going to go said was cool. Said was cool. Pope Benedict said it was cool. And it's smaller than the Catechism. It's a normal-sized book. And it answers a lot of the main questions that people have, unless you're getting like really deep into angels and souls and stuff. At which point you might as well just read the Summa Theologica. Like, that's how far it goes. The one good reason to get the UCAT over the Catechism is because there's a little man on the bottom that if you flip all the pages, it makes him turn, and it's really cool. I like it a lot. That's my reason for keeping 2 copies of the UCAT in my room. Just that. That's it. Just to flip the guy. Anyway, so let's start off with the gifts of the Holy Spirit. So the gifts of the Holy Spirit are wisdom, understanding, counsel, knowledge, fortitude, piety, and fear of the Lord. Now, I heard this weekend from our seminarian who was with us on our confirmation retreat, the easiest way to remember this is WUC FPF. WUC FPF. Wisdom, understanding, counsel, knowledge, WUC FPF. Fortitude, piety, fear of the Lord. So what exactly are the gifts of the Holy Spirit? Well, the gifts of the Holy Spirit are those that are given to us to help us live and to evangelize. They help us respond to the presence of the Holy Spirit in our life. These are the ones that are going to help us throughout our life. Like, we got baptized and we got grace. Every time we receive communion, we get grace. Every time we sin, we lose grace. So yeah, 7 gifts. I guess they're kind of similar to virtues in a way. They're permanent dispositions is what the Catechism said, which makes a man docile in following the promptings of the Holy Spirit. So let's look at them one by one and see what they all are. Let's start off with W, wisdom. Wisdom is the gift of knowing the right choices to make to live a holy life. The gift of wisdom helps you avoid things that could lead you away from God, all right? Pretty simple. Now, before I continue, I want to talk about who has these. Do we all have them? Does the Holy Spirit give one to some and not to others? No, we are all given all of these. However, we're giving varying, depending on how we live our life and how we are supposed to live and what our vocation is, both our primary and our secondary our primary vocation is to know, love, serve God, and be happy with Him in this world and the next. But our secondary vocation and our vocation with our career, those gifts and fruits of the Holy Spirit will help us to live them better, really. So yeah, wisdom, basically it's knowing, thinking, all right, this is good, this is bad. A lot of people have that. And you're like, well, that's not very special, Connor. So let's continue. There's understanding. Understanding can be taken quite a few ways. Some people say that understanding is similar to like being able to empathize with somebody, whereas understanding is more of like being able to understand the truths of the church. Whereas like wisdom is like Solomon in the Bible, really. He understood with that whole big story about how there was the baby and the 2 women were all like, no, this is my son. And the other woman's like, no, this is my son. And someone's like, fine, let's just kill it. And one woman was like, yeah, kill it. And the other one's like, no, let her have it. And someone's like, well, obviously the one who didn't want to die is the actual mother. That would be a version of wisdom, knowing what to do in the right situation. I would say that's a version of wisdom. That's the wisdom of Solomon. This wisdom is a little bit different, though, again, because it's knowing the right choices, knowing what you need to do to live a holy life. Understanding is knowing the teaching of the church, being able to grasp the concepts. And remember when I talk about it a lot, the Summa Theologica, because I love it. It's not easy to comprehend. Let's all be honest. When St. Thomas Aquinas starts yapping about souls and the different types of souls and how we differ from a tomato plant and how we differ from a dog and how a dog differs from a tomato plant, it's kind of hard to understand. So I would say understanding is being able to comprehend these things, being able to think about the teachings of the church and understand them fully. Comprehend them fully. I keep saying understand because it's understanding, but you guys get what I'm saying. It's comprehension, really. So the difference between wisdom and understanding. Wisdom is the knowledge of divine things, the ability to judge those things according to divine truth, like the Solomon thing I said. Whereas understanding is insight to the very heart of things, especially the higher truths. So really, the ability to see God in any situation, the ability to see God in a rosebud, that would be a gift of understanding. So let's move on to counsel. Counsel allows a man to be directed by God in matters necessary for his salvation. So counsel is, it's not like the Jedi council or like consoling someone, which a lot of people think. Counsel is allowing, if you have the gift of counsel, you're allowing God to help you and take control of your life. So that's the gift of counsel. It's so simple, but it's so great. Now we're on to K, walk, K. Knowledge is the ability to judge correctly about matters of faith so as to never wander. So knowledge, understanding, and wisdom are similar. They're all kind of like the clovers on the leaf. Wisdom, the knowledge about divine things. Understanding, be able to see to the very heart of the thing. And knowledge, the ability to judge the matters of faith and actions and say, this is good, this is bad. Okay? Now, there are some people who will say, I have the gift of knowledge, I don't need the church. I'm sorry, you still need the church. With all due respect, you still need the church because God instituted a church for a reason. If he didn't need a church, God would just give everyone large amounts of knowledge and we'd be done by now. And it would be super simple. 3 more left. First one, fortitude, FPF. Fortitude. Fortitude is very similar to courage. Fortitude is a strengthening inside of oneself to avoid wrong and to do good. All right, fortitude is great. Fortitude is, if you ever hear about like martyrs most martyrs, they would say, give up your religion and you'll be fine. They said, no, that took great strength. That took great fortitude. But also it's the smaller thing of just being able to say, look, it's Ash Wednesday and I could totally eat some M&Ms right now, but no, I should be fasting. That would be fortitude, being able to say, no, that's wrong. I'm not taking that. So it can be the great side or the small side of fortitude. Fortitude, it is what it is. It's not going to distinguish by, it's only great things or it's only small things. It's a large range. Same with all of these. Remember, we all are given all of these gifts by the Holy Spirit at confirmation. You have a little bit of all of these. Use them. So if you feel tempted, you can just say, I have the gift of fortitude. I don't care. I have the gift of fortitude. I can be strong. But at the same time, you need to remember, God is there. And he'll help you. So pray to him. And you have a guardian angel who will help you as well. So don't try to do it all yourself, but remember, you can do it. You can do it. Anyways, piety, FBF, piety is mostly paying reverence to God. So knowing that God alone is due reverence. And piety is often concerned with a putting down of oneself because piety is understanding. It's not understanding, but it's understanding God. And by understanding God and who God is and how we are in relation to God, how great God is, how pathetic we are as humans. Whenever you hear someone say they're pious, it's very similar to piety. Being pious, having piety. All that's saying is that they understand. A person who's pious, who has piety, understands that God is great and we are puny. And not like, oh my gosh, God is amazing, I'm just a little bug. It's the idea of, I know my place in the universe. I know where God's place in the universe is. So what do I have to say about that? Last one for the gifts of the Holy Spirit is fear of the Lord. And this one is probably one of the most like, oh my goodness, what is this? Well, should we be scared of God? Is he going to smite us down at any moment? No, God's not an evil God. When often people think of the fear of God, they think, oh yeah, like how people were scared of God in the Old Testament because they had right to be scared of him. He would smite you. People touched the Ark of the Covenant and they died instantly. Is that why we should have fear of the Lord? No, that's not what it's talking about. In this context, the fear of the Lord is an understanding that God is the supreme being and that we need to fear being separate from him. We need to fear being separate from his love. Not just being fearing it because of punishment, but having a real full, complete fear that I know that he is great. I know he loves me. Thus, I don't want to be apart from him. I don't want to do anything that would make him angry at me. And you're saying, well, God could be angry with you. He loves you. Well, yeah, God can be disappointed in you. He won't not forgive you, but God will still be disappointed in you. So that's what fear of the Lord is. So now we've understood the fear of the Lord and all of the gifts of the Holy Spirit. Remember, WUCK FPF, WUCK FPF. WUCK FPF. That's how you remember. Wisdom, understanding, counsel, knowledge, fortitude, piety, fear of the Lord. Let's move on to the fruits of the Holy Spirit, because we just talked about gifts, and he doesn't just give gifts, he also gives fruits. Now, there is a difference between the gifts and the fruits of the Holy Spirit. The fruits of the Holy Spirit are the effect of the Holy Spirit's presence in our lives. Okay? The gifts of the Holy Spirit are something that we have inside of ourselves in varying nature that we can use. Wisdom, understanding, counsel, knowledge, fortitude, piety, fear of the Lord. I almost forgot it there. Good grief. All of the others, the fruits of the Holy Spirit, are things that grow inside of us. That's why they're called fruits. They grow inside of us. And by having them, we know, and other people around us can know, that we have the Holy Spirit inside of us. The Holy Spirit dwells in us, as they're supposed to, because we are temples of the Holy Spirit. So we're going to run down these real quick. I'm not even going to name them. We're just going to run them down. First one is love. Love. And I'm not talking about a lovey-dovey, ooey-gooey Hallmark love. It's almost Valentine's Day, isn't it? It is. Oh. It's not that. It's not a Valentine's Day love. It's the kind of love that is like a charity love, and not just like, oh, I'm going to help out a food drive love, but it's being able to help God and our neighbor. It's love of God and love of neighbor, and then love of self. It's what God talks about, love your neighbor as yourself, you know? That's the kind of love that it talks about. Then there's joy. We live joyfully when we know that true happiness comes from God. All right? And a lot of times when there's somebody who has joy, you can visibly see it. And by visibly, I mean really visibly. Like, you can sure as heck tell that they have joy. Because they're very, very, a lot of times they're just like, I think a great example would be Pier Giorgio Frassati, who I absolutely love. If you haven't heard of him, I'll do an episode on him. I don't know, maybe, coming soon. Pier Giorgio Frassati, he wrote one time, his sister asked him, hey, are you happy? You know, you're away from the family, you know, doing stuff. Are you happy? And he said, oh, no, you asked me if I'm happy. How can I not be? As long as the Spirit is inside me, I will always be joyful. And that sentence right there, as long as the Spirit is inside me, I will always be joyful. If you read the life of Pier Giorgio Frassati, you can really tell he lived a joyful life. You can know if somebody is joyful. But you have to make sure, like, some people are just really energetic and exuberant and extroverted, but you can tell if they're joyful. Like, there's a difference between happy and joy. I think you guys can probably figure that out. Happiness is temporary. Joy is eternal. Because joy, you know, even if stuff sucks and even if stuff goes bad, I will still have joy. I'm going to be happy, but I'll have joy. Rattling down the list. Next, we have peace. Do I have to talk about peace? No? Okay, good. You guys understand peace. Then there's patience. Do I have to talk about patience? No, I don't have to talk about patience. Kindness. Helping out others. Treating others like we want to be treated. Goodness. Living as we're supposed to. Generosity. Sharing what we have, both our gifts and what we own physically. Gentleness. Calming. Being calm. Helping others become calm. Gentleness often is taken as like a super utter like piety kindness thing, when all it really means is just a calm. Almost like peace. Whereas peace is freedom from trivial things, gentleness is just an interior calm. Faithfulness, we're faithful, living our lives faithfully. Modesty, I probably need to talk about this one a lot, but that's not the topic for this episode. You guys know modesty, it's simple. Dress well. Chastity, living chastely. Self-control, trying to overcome the temptations we face, always trying to do God's will. Make sense? Swag. I just said swag. I feel awful. Anyways, guys, that is the gifts and fruits of the Holy Spirit. Really simplistic, honestly, but they're so powerful. Oh my gosh, it's so powerful. No one understood what I said there, did they? Of course not. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching this episode of Rise Up Jerusalem. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, topics you want me to talk about, email me at Rise Up Jerusalem or tweet me, since I as the twits on to Rise Up Jerusalem. I will respond to that. Trust me. And I will do an episode because I want to do episodes that you guys want me to do because that'll be more fun and I can have a lot more fun with that instead of just saying, I'll talk about the gifts of fruit of the Holy Spirit this week. And then next week I'll talk about plants life in relation to souls of dogs. I don't know. Something. Anyways, guys, tell me what you want me to talk about. I want to talk about it. All right? Sounds good. Or if you don't want to, maybe leave a comment. That's another way to do it. It works too. Also, tell your friends because Rise Up Jerusalem is cool.
And I have an amazingly soft, soothing voice that is utterly succulent.
I feel like Markiplier right now. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. And remember, as it was in the beginning, it's now and never shall be, rise up and live.